Hi, bitch besties. It's your main bitch, Melly. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to another episode of the Judgy Bitch Pod.
Hi, bitch besties. Welcome to a new episode. I am so excited. I'm here with the drain because I fucking deserve it. Germany just got kicked out of the World Cup, so bye. But I'm here with Paige. We're recording another episode of On the Page of Crime. And for the first time in the Judgy Bitch history, we're having a threesome. I mean, a three-way podcast.
Hey.
We are here with Brittany from When Killers Get Caught. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Paige.
And hi, besties.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. I hope this all works out. We've never done this before. I've never even tested it. So let's see how this goes. But this case needs all hands on deck. I need you all to chime in. This is the perfect judgy bitch case we could ever discuss. If we can ever let our judgy bitch flag fly, this is the case for it. And the case I'm talking about is in everybody's mouth right now. And of course, it's the Mackenzie Shirilla case. Here we go. I know. Where do we even start? Let me read first what's going on for bitch besties who haven't heard about the case, and then we can jump right in. All right, here we go. In the early morning of July 31st, 2022, 17-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla was driving a 2018 Toyota Camry in Strongsville, Ohio. Her passengers were her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, 20, who was in the front passenger seat, and their friend, Davion Flanagan, 19, who was sitting in the rear passenger side seat. Around 5:30, the car accelerated down Alameda Drive, I think it's pronounced, reaching approximately 100 miles per hour before leaving the roadway and crashing into a commercial building. The passenger side of the vehicle took the brunt of the impact, directly where both young men were seated. Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan died at the scene from their injuries. Mackenzie Shirilla survived. She suffered multiple broken bones, a severe traumatic brain injury, and other serious injuries, requiring extensive hospitalization and rehabilitation. Investigators recovered data from the vehicle's event data recorder, which showed the accelerator remained fully depressed until impact, and there was no evidence that the brakes were applied before the crash. Toxicology reports found no evidence that alcohol or drugs contributed to the crash. Prosecutors argued the crash was intentional, alleging Shirilla deliberately drove into the building as a murder-suicide attempt, targeting herself and Dominic Russo. To support the theory, they presented evidence, including text messages, phone records, and testimony describing a turbulent relationship between Shirilla and Russo in the days leading up to the crash. The defense argued it was a tragic accident caused by reckless driving, noting Shirilla had a history of speeding and that there was no direct evidence, such as a confession or a suicide note showing she intended to kill anyone. Because Shirilla was 17 years old at the time, she was tried as an adult. She waived her right to a jury trial, so the case was decided by a judge. In August 2023, the judge found her guilty in all counts, including 2 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide. The judge concluded the evidence showed the crash was a calculated, deliberate act rather than an accident. In September 2023, Shirilla was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. In 2024, an Ohio appeals court upheld the conviction. The case remains controversial because the prosecution relied on circumstantial evidence to prove intent. Supporters believe the crash data and surrounding circumstances demonstrate a deliberate act, while others believe the evidence could also support the conclusion that it was an extraordinarily reckless but unintentional crash. What was your first impression, Paige, when you heard about this case?
First happened, I thought it was very bizarre just because we didn't know all the facts at first, and then learning that it was potentially intentional. It's what the hell, what is wrong with this girl, and what happened to drive her to do that? I don't know. It's heartbreaking, and it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. Brittany, what do you think? Do you think it was an intentional suicide attempt?
So I didn't hear about this case right away. I heard when she got arrested, and so then that's when I got interested in it because it was everywhere. This girl who essentially I don't think it was a suicide attempt. I think okay, so I watched a lot of the footage, like the police footage, the cams and stuff. People don't know this, but I sent you a link. There's an entire website that lists absolutely every stitch of evidence that was submitted for this trial.
Yeah.
It I will send it to you, Paige. It's
Yeah.
wild. I think she got mad. But
Mhm.
then the other thing that messes me up is that some of the evidence says that she visited that exact stretch of land where she turned from Alameda onto Progress 7 times
Yeah.
before the accident. So that leads to premeditation. Why
Mhm.
was she there? It's an industrial district. She doesn't go there any other time. It's
Yeah.
just businesses.
Yeah.
Nobody she knows worked there.
Yeah.
And it's a dead end. That road ends in buildings. It has no other interconnecting streets. So I don't think it was a suicide attempt. I think she was mad at him.
Yeah.
I think maybe he said something in the car and she got pissed off.
Yeah. I will put up my disclaimer here at the real quick. The information that I have here is based a lot of the Netflix documentary, and also there are several Hulu documentaries out there that I watched. I watched a bunch of TikToks that have the actual evidence in it. I know Brittany went much deeper than I did, so it's just a combination of different sources at this time. I know TikTok sells a T-shirt that says allegedly on it. I'm going to buy it.
In my I have that in my cart too. I want that shirt as well.
So take it with a grain of
Also,
salt. Everything that we discussed.
anybody looking at this, these are our opinions.
Exactly.
I
Yes.
am not an attorney. This is my opinion as somebody who just researches crime for a
Exactly.
living.
Right.
Exactly. But I agree with you, Brittany. When I watched all those documentaries, and apparently the two of them have been threatening each other before that they were going to crash the car. So I think in that moment, she just said, I'm going to show you that I'm actually serious. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you. I don't think she considered the consequences of it, that they might die in this. I think she was so upset and thought she's invincible that she was like, I'm going to show you.
I think another detail that's also really interesting is that apparently she didn't want Davian to ride home with them.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that came out in the Tubi documentary, Dr. Insanity. They said that originally she got into an argument with Dom and she was like, he can stay with his friend Bubba because they're supposed to work on the car later. So, but Davian was like, I want to go home, sleep for a couple hours, take a shower. So drop me off at home on your way home. And Dom, obviously, that's his best friend. So he was like,
Mhm.
why are you being weird?
Yeah.
And so she said, fine, whatever. I think that's why Davian's parents kept saying, she treated him like he was just extra cargo in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
She didn't think about the fact that he was a person too. Yeah, you were mad at Dom, but you took somebody else out entirely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paige, was there a piece of evidence that really stood out to you that really influenced your opinion the most?
I think the black box data really, was a selling point. And then like the footage of like her carefully making that turn, and then all of a sudden, like the next clip, she's speeding down. So it's like, I don't know, like it's so hard to pinpoint, but honestly, like those two are probably the biggest. Just because like you can't manipulate the data. Like
Yeah.
it's raw data and it's there. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just the numbers don't lie, the facts don't lie. Like it's just I don't know. The whole case is so frustrating and it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
So one of the things that was really distinctive for me, and it got brought up in a lot of the different documentaries and the articles about this. So right when she first hears that this happens, she's screaming and crying in the hospital. Everybody who was there is like, oh, it seems so authentic. A week later, it's all normal. She's on social media talking to a modeling agency.
Yeah.
Her mom's responding. Like it almost was like, and yeah, she's making the posts. Oh, I miss you so much, Dom. I'm sorry I couldn't go to your funeral. But I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I am in a relationship with someone who I've loved for several years, and I would not be in the social media phase
Yeah.
a week after his death.
No.
Yeah.
I would be inconsolable.
Yeah.
There would be no social media from me for a while.
Yeah.
So I thought that for me, like the lack of, like, I feel like we didn't get tears from her in the trial
Yeah.
until she got convicted. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden she was all back to crying.
Actually,
I
the
feel so
only
bad.
tears in
I'm
court
so full
were
of remorse.
when the mom took the stand. That's when she started crying. Before that, there was no tears. But you brought up the hospital. In the hospital, as soon as she woke up and investigators started to question her, she started speaking that weird language with her mom. And she asked right away, "Can you just say I had a seizure?"
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, she did say, and then she asked him, can't you just take my license away for like 10 years or something?
Yeah.
Girl, like, I get it. Like, she's young and like her frontal lobe isn't fully developed. But like, and I really think people forget that. Like, she is a child. So, like, I feel like that makes sense for her brain and her thinking. But like, logistically, you just killed two people.
Yeah.
You think taking your sentence or your license away for 10 years is good enough? Get the hell out of here.
Also, one of the things that's got me really riled up is that, so they immediately put in a request for her medical records because
Yeah.
they're like, maybe she had a seizure, maybe something happened. She has no history of fainting, no nothing. That somehow between her getting arrested and getting to the trial, she gets a POTS diagnosis.
Mhm. Which was very hard to get.
Right. I know people who have gone 5-10 years before they get diagnosis, and you get it in a year. It just doesn't feel real. It feels like something that her defense attorney pulled out of his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Let's talk about her background a little bit. She is super young. She is on drugs. I mean, not only marijuana, they were also doing other things. And she's basically living with her boyfriend.
A lot of feelings about that. And it actually
Me
got
too.
worse the more documentaries I watched. At first,
Me
I was
too.
like, okay, some parents are weird. I think it's weird to let your 17-year-old live with a 20-year-old man in his house. Okay, that's weird. But then, and I think it was the second Tubi documentary that I watched. It wasn't the Mean Girls one, it was the other one. They showed all these pictures of her outfits for school, and they were all wildly inappropriate. Thongs showing like it's 1999, midriff bearing. I'm like, what school allows you to show up like this? We were not allowed to show up to school with our everything out.
Yeah.
That I thought was weird. Like from a parent perspective, like, why are you letting your kid walk around like that at school?
It's more so that they were like friends rather than the parents. Like, I remember listening to one podcast and they were like, her parents would like all the pictures and videos that she would post of her like smoking weed and
Yes.
everything. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I grew up in a household like, my dad was an addict. My mom was so against drugs and alcohol. So like, even like when I was like well of age, like I still was kind of like weirded out to like drink in front of my parents. And I'm like, I'm legal. Like, it's weird. Like, but for
Remember
her
being
and her friends, like, I don't know, it's just odd.
No, I get you, because I remember being 21 and, I went out with my mom and her friends, and we went to, like, a TGI Friday, and I was just like, can I get a drink?" And my mom's friend was like, "Oh, she's grown now." But, like, it felt weird, like, being a grown-up around them, and,
Yeah.
like yeah, no, I agree with you on that because so the idea of, like, I'm not going to call my parents or go over for dinner. They're just gonna watch my social media and
Right.
like my pictures and videos. Also, the videos of her smoking while she's driving, the videos of her carrying stacks of cash. Like, you're not going to question where your kid is getting $1,000 in ones?
Right. That, and then the one TikTok that she posted, what was it? It was like, I'm that type of girl that like can do all the drugs and never die.
Right.
And I'm like,
And she posted it right after the crash. Guess I'm the kind of
oh,
girl who can do all these drugs and never die.
mhm.
Yeah.
And like, I get that she's like following trends on TikTok because that's what everybody does.
Mhm.
But it is sort of, I guess, tactless
Yeah.
to post those kinds of things right after, or actually while you're actively being investigated for doing drugs and driving.
Yeah.
You're like, you're helping the case against you, basically.
Also, I can't get past the fact that they found a scale in her purse.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
The only people who need those kinds of scales are people who are moving weight.
Yeah. But they also said that he was a dealer, I think. So maybe she was carrying the scale for him. I don't know. Yeah.
They also said the mushrooms were like hidden in her clothes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She had a little bag of weed in her purse, but they didn't find the what's it, psilocybin, I think that's what it's called, until like I guess they like cut her out of her clothes to like take her in the ER because she broke her her femur.
Yeah.
It's a
Mhm.
pretty intense bone to destroy, and so
Yeah.
actually that was one of the things that really like made me go when they pulled her out of the car and you hear her screaming. I knew that
Yeah.
was some real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I was also surprised that her defense attorney didn't clean up her TikTok before the trial.
It's all still there.
Yeah. That surprised me. I don't know. I mean, it was probably too late anyways, because prosecutor probably already dug into it. But I
Yeah.
would assume like they would take some stuff off, but they just didn't.
Well, they also had her actual phone that they decrypted, and they had loads of stuff
Mhm.
from that.
Yeah.
So
But do you guys think, Brittany, starting with you, that parental supervision would have made a difference in this case? Because obviously she didn't have any boundaries from her parents whatsoever.
absolutely. I graduated when I was 17. I didn't turn 18 until my first semester in college. I could not imagine the kind of relationship she had with her family. Like the fact that they were driving home at 5 something in the morning is unheard of. I would come home from college and let my parents know I was going to be home at 1 a.m. from a late movie.
Yeah.
Like, so the idea that I would just walk in and out of my parents' house like I paid rent there,
Yeah. Crazy.
that's weird to me.
Paige,
That's
do you,
so weird to me.
so weird. Paige, do you think she showed any remorse at all after the accident? Any, even like survivor's guilt or anything?
No, not at all. Bringing back or circling back to the comment about like the modeling agency, like again, that wouldn't be on my thoughts to, you know, want to try and be famous or anything like that. And I don't know, just like her behavior, like just like seeing her being interviewed and like, just the certain things and actions that she was doing, like she was going to concerts, which, okay, we've all lost people, I'm sure, right? Like, so you want to get back to your normal life, but it's like there's a time and a place for certain things to be done and said. And it's just the way that she was acting afterwards. It does not seem like she had remorse.
Yeah. Brittany, what about
She
the
was more so
Halloween?
like, right,
Say it
yes. And
again.
she was just more so like concerned about her image and getting famous and like the attention that she had, as opposed to like grieving and, healing and moving forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I said, Brittany, what about the Halloween posts?
And I understand why people didn't understand it. She was dressed up like a rapper. This is how I think his name is Party, and he dresses up like a skeleton on stage. But it's still like
Mm-hmm.
she never understood like most of her behavior, very tactless.
Yeah.
Also,
Mm-hmm.
it was so funny that in the Netflix documentary, that's the first one I watched, I was like, "Oh, she thinks she's top shit. She thinks she's like Regina
Yeah.
George."
Yeah.
And then I got to like 3, like the second Hulu documentary, and they were like, yeah, oh no, it was the Mean Girls documentary. And she was like, yeah, she definitely thought she was Regina George. And I was like, I thought so too.
100%.
For sure.
Apparently, she was terrible to people in school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently, like her disciplinary record loads of situations. And I could not believe her dad was like, one day I came and picked her up and she was sobbing in the principal's office. And I said, "Did you do it?" And she said, "No. And I know when my kid's lying." What?
Yeah, get the hell out of here. Her parents, like, we could go just have an episode about her parents.
Yeah, I have a
Like,
Yo,
season
her
for the
dad.
parents too. But I want to ask you first, Paige, what did you think about her appearance in the documentary, specifically the bun?
Like, girl, I don't know. The fact
That's
that
a prison
she,
do.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, her whole getup. The fact that she has access to the makeup, the jewelry, and all that shit, like, I just can't. I'm like, you're in prison. Why do
You
you
know
have?
her parents keep her commissary
Yes,
full.
for sure. And yeah, they said that, and I'm like, you're never gonna teach your kid's never gonna learn to take full responsibility or learn anything from her actions. Like, you're just continuing to reward that bad behavior.
And that's what Damon's dad said.
Mhm.
He was like, "I hope that in 15 to 20 years, she becomes a good person." He's like, "But if her parents don't start parenting her, she's going to be exactly the same person that she was only 35, 40 years old."
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But it also shows right now their daughter killed two people. She is a convicted murderer, pretty much, right? She's in prison
Mhm.
and the parents continue to enable her. Like the parents haven't learned their lessons from this, what happened, you know? They just continue to enable her.
Yup.
Crazy.
The dad's still online saying crazy stuff. Like, you sent me a TikTok of him the other day talking about how he's like, they didn't put this in the trial. And I'm like, this is why people don't understand how law works. So there's
Right.
a phase before you go to trial called discovery. Every single thing that is going to be brought to trial, every bit of evidence has to be submitted ahead of time. So that whole concept of like the movies where they're like, "I have the smoking gun," that's not real.
Right. No,
So
not at all.
her attorney had access to all of that information too. I don't know why he didn't use it, but he didn't. So it's not grounds for a mistrial because your lawyer was shitty.
Right. But
The prosecution was better.
he also didn't bring any witnesses, I understand, right? He didn't bring a medical witness who could speak to the parts or anything, which you would think that would be their most important argument, right? But they did
I'm going to
deliver
tell you,
on this.
I think that's because no doctor is going to put their license on the
For
line
sure.
to lie for her.
Yeah.
And also, you
100%.
can't diagnose someone after the fact. Like, that's the situation already happened. How are you gonna prove that she had it prior? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah. And
yeah, I
plus,
agree. There's no way the
any,
license would be
any
a
doctor
risk.
would have not survived cross-examination because for sure the prosecutor would have asked, well, if she had an episode of POTS in that moment, wouldn't her foot come off the gas pedal? Like when you pass out, the pressure goes away. You
You
know,
go limp.
yeah, go limp. Exactly.
Yep. I looked it up. Tunnel vision, blurred vision, you see spots, dizziness, you get lightheaded. They said there's heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Sometimes your limbs feel like jelly. You get ringing in your ears. You have muffled like head fog, and you can sometimes lose consciousness. But if you lose consciousness, you wouldn't keep your foot pushed down all the way.
Right.
I mean, this was a Camry,
Yeah.
not a Corvette.
Yeah. Exactly.
To make a Camry go 100 miles per hour, you got to be really trying.
Yeah. And then, I mentioned earlier the mom and Mackenzie had this weird language. Why did they even learn this weird language? Like, what were they up to?
People are
I
weird.
think it's fun. I mean, I did that when I was a kid with like my cousin. We used to talk in like Pig Latin, and the prosecutor said it was kind of sort of a Pig Latin language.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy that also for people who think they're so smart, why did you not tell Mackenzie to shut up as soon as the cop walked in?
Right.
Right.
That part.
Like the second my kid starts going, can we just tell them be quiet,
Right.
Right.
say
Lawyer.
nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, did you see? I don't know if I ended up clicking through all the like body cam footage, and I came across a body cam clip of the dad the day that she got arrested, it was the two of them in the police station freaking out, mom and dad, talking about, "We need to be in there with her. She can't talk to you guys without us there." And the cop's like, "She's 18. She's an adult." And she was like, "She needs her attorney, blah, 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 blah." And she can ask for one. Like the cop was like, "And she can ask for her attorney, but you're not going in there."
Yeah.
Right.
Did you see in the dad interview that he gave that he's blaming the last name Russo for the outcome of the trial?
Like,
Felt so bad for them.
me too.
That family seems so like,
Yeah.
and that loss is big. That was
Yeah.
a big loss for their family.
And there's another bombshell circulating on TikTok, and I'm referring to the text messages between Mackenzie and her dad, where she's asking for warm milk. Have you seen those?
Yes.
What the hell?
Some people are saying this is like that they may have had like some people are definitely insinuating that Mackenzie and her father had a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
It just seemed really weird. Like
Yeah.
she asked him for a foot rub sometimes.
Ew. Like,
That is literally something I have
close with my
only
dad.
had a romantic partner do.
Right. And I'm like, I'm very close with my dad, but never in my life would I ask him, "Hey, dad, I need you to rub my feet." No, that's fucking weird. Like, even if she truly was asking for warm milk, I'm like, why did you ask it like that? And why at this time? And why? Like, there's just so many whys. Like, it's just very odd. It makes me like so uncomfortable. Like,
Well, you can't walk your 2 feet into the kitchen
right.
and
Like,
warm up some milk for yourself?
yeah, very, very strange.
What?
And then have you seen this page? So in the Dr. Insanity interview, they said that they found old Snapchat records in her phone that showed that she was soliciting through Snapchat and that she said it was $1,000 for pictures or $2,500 to do whatever you want.
What? No, I didn't hear that.
And I was like, that's the only documentary that mentioned that. And I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Not like, which means that I'm like, 17?
Yeah, I was going to say she was a minor.
Right. Which could
God.
explain the price because people do
Yeah.
pay a lot more money for children.
But that's not enough. I'm sorry. Like, that's so not enough.
But they were like, because they were trying to figure out how does she have all this money? She doesn't have a job. And
Yeah.
so that's what the police were like looking through all of her stuff.
Yeah.
And they found that screenshot and they were like,
Ew.
Yeah. In the Netflix documentary, they alluded that the money came from him, from Dom, because he was doing
Yeah.
well for himself and he was giving her all those designer gifts and stuff.
yeah, he was trading Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which is so
Yeah.
smart because when I was their age, that's when Bitcoin came right out. And I was so pissed that I didn't jump on that bandwagon because I would be a billionaire right now.
one Bitcoin is about $35,000 right now.
Crazy.
Must be nice.
Great.
They said he also did some investing. We know he also sold a little bit of weed on the side.
Yeah, I was going to say, he definitely
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Also, there were messages where she was just like, Dom can hook you up if you want something. Because they said when she was at the party at, I think her name was Rachel's house, the one they were supposed to have the sleepover at,
Yeah. I think
she
they-
tried to like sell Rachel like mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And did you also hear that after the documentary came out, the father was put on suspense from his job and he never returned because he's a
Not
teacher
even.
and the shit he said in the documentary just didn't fly with the parents, I assume.
Well, yeah, the part where he was talking about, he was like, listen, I knew she smoked weed. He was like, everybody smokes dope. I smoked dope. She smoked dope. It's not a big deal. And I was like, sir, you are a teacher.
Right.
I also was a teacher. Do you know what I never talked about online or anywhere publicly? Any substances ever, not even drinking. There's not even pictures of me with alcohol. That's how you can get fired for any reason when you work with kids.
Yeah. But honestly, and I'm going to be really judgy bitchy right now, right? Even if he hadn't said that, right? Just for the fact that he's a teacher who raised a murderer, I would not want him near my children. Sorry.
No, you do have a point.
Yeah,
Because
it
you
would be
the
one thing
question would
if
be,
Yeah, it would be one thing if that they didn't back her. Like, so I was talking to my siblings and or my sister and her husband, and they have a son. So they're like, obviously you want to believe your kid, right? Like you want to believe that they didn't do this crime, that they're good people, whatever. But it's like, and granted, I don't have children, so I don't know like how I would be. But like, when do you start to like make that turn and be like, okay, like she did do this, or she isn't a good person, and the behaviors that she has, like, is that on me? Was it like a learned trait from, I don't know, like her peers or whatever? So it's like, I don't know, like, and I just literally forgot my thought, but just I had a whole thing.
No,
But
there's a thin line. There's a thin line between I love my kid, I will always love my child,
mhm,
but I can't support like 100% in this. They are
right,
not on that space. They're
right,
not like, I love you even though you did a terrible thing. They are, I love you. And because I love you, there's no way that you could have
mhm,
ever done anything wrong ever.
Right. Yeah,
They're way on the other
they
side
are.
of I love my kid in a way that's not healthy
yeah,
for her.
Yeah.
right. And like you would think, like, even after he lost his job, and like after certain interviews, like that didn't like go as planned, or I really looked bad there or whatever. Like
No,
he
now he's
hasn't changed
worse.
his narrative or like learned from his mistakes. So it's like he's really truly sticking to his guns, and it's like, oh, it's
He doesn't think he made a
scary.
mistake. He thinks that
Right.
he defended his
Exactly.
daughter and the woke mob attacked him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's scary that people truly think like that. You know what I mean? Like you have to take ownership, dude. Like whatever.
It's crazy. It's wild. And there's also recordings circulating online about jail phone conversation between her and her mom. Did you hear the one where she thought, or
Mhm.
she was, her mom told her that her case is out now in the news everywhere, and she was excited about that. And then she was like, maybe Kim K is gonna come and kind of rescue me and like prove that I'm innocent. Like she's so
My
far
goodness.
detached from reality.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to benefit off of the loss of your boyfriend and his friend.
Yeah.
Do you not realize you truly killed people? Like their lives are forever changed. You can't make a positive out of that.
Right.
Every time I see Davian's sister
Oh,
talk,
I know.
my heart
Mhm.
and, like, they already were foster kids, and
I
then to
know.
find a family that loved you and really, like, lifted you up properly,
Yeah.
And
I
took
know.
you and your siblings together, like,
all 3 of them,
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
it's sad.
I know. It's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. But I want to, since you mentioned the sibling, Dom's sister went on the Legally Brunette podcast, and she actually mentioned on that podcast that that street they took is a shortcut that people sometimes take. I just want to throw
okay.
that out there too.
Okay, so there was another spot because I you're right, there was, like, little side streets,
Yeah,
but she went straight down Progress, and there's, like, a little I even, like, looked it up, and there's, like, an S curve.
there's an S curve.
So, that means she maintained, like, because the one kid who had her Life 360
Yeah.
he gave the information to the cops, and it showed that she was going 90. She took those curves still maintaining top speed.
Yeah. I think that kid with the
So
360
crazy.
was very early on, and he may even be the reason why they started investigating that as a homicide. I believe in one of the
Also, her
documentaries they
ex-boyfriend
framed
too.
it this way. Say again, the boyfriend?
Her ex-boyfriend too.
Oh, what about him?
He showed up and they were like, "Oh, when did you date?" And he was like, "It was only for like 2 months during a summer," but he was just like, "She's crazy about Dom. She told everybody that if Dom ever left her, she would kill herself." Like he was giving all kinds of like gossip about their relationship, saying they would like make up and break up in the same week and that like she was the toxic person in the relationship.
Yeah, and they show that in the documentary where Dom recorded how crazy the relationship actually was, right?
Mm, yeah.
It was so toxic, but also she's a teenager, right?
And that's why they don't need to be in those kinds of relationships like that.
Yeah,
Like the way her parents talked about her and Dom, they were like, "Oh, they were already talking about marriage. She's 17."
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, she's been dating this guy since she was 14, but it's entirely too young to be talking about getting married to some guy. He wasn't
She
thinking
was
about
young.
marrying her.
Yeah,
He was talking about going to the military to leave her.
right, right. The most heartbreaking part for me in this case was that Davion ended up on top of Dom. And there's a lot of speculations why both of them were not wearing seatbelts, but he was seatbelt. And how did he end up on top of her? Were they both trying to intervene? Did they see this coming? What's your guys' thoughts? Paige, starting with you.
I think they definitely tried to intervene because they were saying like with the black box that like they could see that it switched gears and whatnot. I just tried to like picture myself in that situation. Like obviously I think I would try and do that, but it's like, did they have any time to react? You know what I mean? Like how like when did she, accelerate and, kind of like lose her mind, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
or freak out or whatever. Like from that point to the crash, it's like, were they arguing? Were they trying to get out of the car or anything like that? But yeah, I really do think that they definitely try to intervene.
Well, it was about 2 minutes if you look at the
Yeah.
timestamps. So at like 34, she makes that turn off of Alameda, and then there's another CCTV footage where she was going by, and the specialist said he thought she had to have been going over 90 when she hit that spot, and then when
Yeah.
she hit the wall, she was at 100. And you're right, they said that it looked like there was a little bit of a left, right, left at some
Hmm.
point, and then the car went from drive to neutral to drive.
correct.
And so I think the boys leaned over and they were trying to grab the wheel,
Yeah.
trying to get her to do anything to stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you got to figure from the time she hit that like middle part of the road till the end, we're talking about like 40 seconds.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like the reaction time, you know what I mean? Like, are you processing like what's actually happening or, just kind of
Do
like
you
being
think
like
she's just trying to
freaking out?
scare you?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And let me ask you this. The car hit on the side where the boys were sitting. Was that just a freak coincidence, or did she somehow steer it this way?
Well, okay, so there was a sign and then there were two rocks like to the left of the sign. She went right, hit the sign, and then crashed into the wall sideways.
Yeah,
I have had the opportunity to, like, be in a car that goes that fast. It's not easy. There it's when you're going very fast, like, it's very hard to steer. So my thought process says, I don't think she had any kind of control at all at that point.
yeah, I agree. And being from Germany, we have the Autobahn. There's no speed limit on sections of the Autobahn. But it is a different surface, right? It's a different pavement. The street is made for going fast speed. That street those kids were on is not. It must be so difficult going 100 miles per hour at this regular street, even keeping the car in the lane, I imagine. I don't think you have much control, probably. But the last second of the impact, I can't help but continuously think about it if she was trying to kill them all, or if somehow in the last fraction of a second she turned the car to get away somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we'll never know.
Right, exactly. I mean, just me being me, I feel like she intentionally did it, but like you said, like when you're speeding, you can't really control it. But I don't know. I still feel like she did it intentionally.
I don't know. There was no suicide note. There was no confession. How do you feel about just going off of circumstantial evidence in this case? Brittany?
We've convicted people for less. So, in
Right.
America, but, I don't know, in this situation, I understand people being like, "Well, there was no confession, there's no definitive proof, we don't know what happened in those 4.7 seconds." That's the part her dad's really holding on to.
Yeah,
"We don't know what happened in those 4.7 seconds, anything could have happened." And I'm just like, "But even if this wasn't premeditated murder, she still killed 2 people." I don't think her parents understand there's no way she wasn't walking away with
Right.
some kind of a jail sentence.
Right.
Drugs, recklessness, and the speeding. So, like, I think she would have ended up in prison no matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah. Do you think the sentence would have been different if she had showed post-accident different behavior, Paige? She had been super sad and devastated and insufferable. Is that the right word? You know what I mean?
Insufferable.
Yeah.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know.
No, she is insufferable.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I can see where people can say yes because, she's showing remorse, but at the same time, she could be faking it. You know what I mean? She could be doing it to benefit her. So I don't know. I don't want to say, you know, because I know people can truly be remorseful, right? But in this case, I don't think she was. And even if she acted as if she was, I don't think that would have helped.
Yeah. And Brittany, how do you feel about the sentence? I mean, the judge said she is intentionally not giving her the hardest sentence she could. And also, she is to serve both sentences at the same time. Would the victim's parents say they feel like she got only sentenced for one murder, not for two? How do you feel about that?
I agree with the Flanagans on their feeling that I've never been a fan of concurrent sentences. I don't
Me
think
either.
it's fair. If you kill 10 people, I want 10 life sentences. I
Hmm.
like when a case says somebody got 400 years
Right.
because that means they're never getting out.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this stage, her first parole hearing is going to be in 2037.
I mean, she's not going to
And
That's
get
not
out.
she's
that
young
far
enough to,
away.
and even if she does get out, right? Like she's still young enough to start a family, to start a career, like to live her life. Where like the two victims, they don't have lives. They can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like
Well, I mean, you see, what's her name? The girl who she killed her mom. She got the
Gypsy Rose.
TLC. Gypsy Rose, right? You see how Gypsy Rose has monetized her life getting out of prison.
Right. Yep.
So, what would stop Mackenzie from doing the same thing? And on top of that,
Right.
Mackenzie already has a fundamental understanding of influencer culture. She's gonna
Hmm.
pop out of prison. If she gets out of prison and she's only like 35, she's going to jump right into trying to be like a hot mom.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But do you think she's actually going to get out on parole if she doesn't change her whole being?
I don't think
It's
so.
going to look bad on at the parole board if she continues to say that she never like so they make you go to therapy and then they offer you classes and things to like help you, it's to try and cut down on recidivism, the people coming back to prison. But it looks bad to the parole board if you refuse to admit fault.
Right.
And she insists she has never said anything. I have a question for you guys. What do you think about that part in the Netflix documentary where the director asked her, "Do you have anything else to say?" And she looked at the lawyer and was like, "Am I good?"
Is it good enough? Did I sound okay? Like you're
I
being
thought that
coached.
was so weird.
So weird. You're being coached. Clearly you're not being like you're not coming from the heart, right? Like
Mhm.
you're making sure like what you're saying is going to be okay and like people are going to like feel for you or truly believe you. Like that's bullshit. Why are you getting coached?
Also,
Uh,
I
can't
am
stand her.
very full of remorse.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
That was so
Exactly.
weird.
It was. But also, I just remember while you were talking, Brittany, the fact that she can't remember exactly the seconds of the accidents, but she does remember how she turned into the street or how fucking convenient.
Right. Exactly.
It's also somebody not understanding how traumatic brain injuries work either.
Right. Yeah.
She's
Right.
just kinda, going fast and loose. That's not how that works. That usually you lose a much bigger chunk of time than 30 seconds before the accident.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy. And I also want to talk to you girls about Rosie, her best friend. So apparently,
Mm.
Rosie refused with her entire being to talk to the cops. but she was all for going on the Netflix documentary and really being a cheerleader for Mackenzie and really like supporting her. Paige, how did that make you feel?
Oh my god, it was so mind blowing. Like, I mean, clearly she's all about followers and getting famous, and she has a TikTok that goes viral and all that shit. Like, she cares about her persona, and it's like anything. Again, same with Mackenzie. Like, she wants that the attention that's going to help her and give her like all these followers and views and shit. I'm like, you literally could have helped solve a murder. Like, 2 people lost their lives. You could give any insight and you're not willing to help, but you're willing to get clout, like, you're a shitty person.
Well, you peeped that part in the Netflix documentary where she was just like, "Yeah, I have 240,000
Mhm.
followers. Mackenzie wanted to be a model like I am." And I was just like, "Girl, you are not a model."
No. Like, get out of here. You're not gonna be relevant in, like, the next few years, like, calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
But I laughed. I actually outwardly laughed when the prosecutor, I think it was the assistant prosecutor, was just like, "Rosie talked to you? I can't wait to hear what she has to say because she wouldn't
Right?
talk to me."
Yeah.
Right?
And there was another dude, I forgot his name, but it sounded from both of those people, Rosie and the other guy, that even her
The
friends
friend.
enabled her.
Mhm.
I think it was
Yeah.
Bubba, the other guy, the, like, slightly, like,
Yeah,
he
I
was,
think
like,
that's who it is.
he looked like a linebacker. He was,
Yeah,
like, a big guy. He also was very much, like, he didn't, like, really, he wasn't as supportive, I think, in his interviews, but he really did, like, lay down the foundation of this friendship they all had that kind of, like, it was too enmeshed.
yeah.
He said that, like, we all had each other's locations and we could all just show up where anybody was at any time. I don't like that. And maybe it's because 'cause I'm old. I get it. I'm 38. Like, I don't share my location with my partner. Like, he knows I'm home and I'm doing this documentary right now, but, like, I'm doing the podcast about a documentary, but, like, he knows where I tell him, but the idea that you can just open your phone up, you can see not just where they are, it's exact, but also you see, like, how fast they're driving, where they've stopped. That why do friends need that? Oh, that's so weird to me.
Who asked about this page?
My mom's mentally ill, so I will say that. So, when she was,
Okay.
like, in a psychosis, I guess you could say, and I don't mean to be laughing, but, like,
No, you needed to know where she
my
was so
mom
she
is,
didn't
like, currently,
disappear.
like, in a psychosis, so, like, it was just funny. Literally, that's what took me so long to get on the call because we were talking about it with my family. Um, so I was able to track her down. Like, I'm a little investigator myself, so, like, I'll, like, look to see, like, transactions on her card or whatever, like, to see, like, where she is.
Right, but that's you looking out for somebody who
Right.
The
can't do
friends.
it
Yeah,
Yes.
themselves.
Yes.
These were a
But
bunch of
then, like,
16, 17-year-olds tracking each other 24/7.
yeah. So I get the safety portion of it, like my family and I do that. And I also stalk my siblings and, ask them to pick me stuff up at Costco. But then randomly my friends and I started doing it and like I'll get weirded out. My friend's like, "Oh, like what are you getting at Rite Aid?" And I'm like, "How the hell do you know I'm here?" And she's like, "Oh, I just randomly saw I'm s- I forget what she says. She's like, "I'm stalking my little meat or Sims. I'm looking to see like where all my little Sims are." So I don't know, like
You guys are her Sims?
yeah. So, like, I don't do it with everyone, but, like, I do it with, like, my close-knit people, so I can see why her and her friends did it, but again, like, I do see your point, like, it's, like, where it's kinda too involved. Like, I feel like they were more so, like a rider for a friend, but, like, not in a good way, because obviously they're not willing to speak to the police, they're not willing to cooperate, like, there's definitely some pros and cons. But on the opposite side, that friend that had the, Life 360, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
helped
he was part of
with
their little
that.
group.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Let me ask you this, Paige. Would you stay friends with someone who is a convicted murderer?
hell no. I don't even know, like, our thing is like devil's advocate, right? Like, I don't
Brittany
even
hates
think
that, by the way. Brittany told me in our last podcast that the devil doesn't need any more advocates.
I agree, right? But like to play both sides, I don't know how I would even like remain friends with someone. Like, what situation would, like be okay to remain friends with them? Like, I don't know. Like so my mom's brother was murdered, so going back about like the sentencing, yes, they didn't like the the sentences were consecutive, right? They got 15 years, or she got 15 years, I should say. But like, I'm like, compared to other cases, like my uncle's murderer, like he only got like, I think 13 or 17 months in prison. So it's like I have that to kind of compare. So I'm like, all right,
What
like at
state did
least
that happen in?
Pennsylvania. And it was in the 80s.
I live in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. I thought we had better
What?
minimums.
No.
I have to double check that now.
Yeah. So
I do not like 17 months for murder.
yeah, it
That's
was something like,
horrible.
yeah, it was, I'll have to get the exact number, but it was like months as opposed to years.
Wow.
So like in that situation, I'm like, all right, like, kind of comparing that. But like, I also think of that like, okay, how would I remain friends with a murderer? Like if someone were to remain friends with my uncle's murderer, like I can't imagine that person being in my life. So like I try and put myself in that situation.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I could ever be friends with a murderer.
Yeah. Brittany, can you explain to the bitch besties who may not know what that means, 15 years to life, the sentence she received?
So, okay, first things first, life is not life. Usually life is about 30 to 35 years, but 15 means that that's the first time she'll be eligible for parole. And then depending on her state, I'm not sure Ohio's specific rules. There's a certain amount of times you can request parole. The odds are that she won't be in jail until she's like 87, or that she'll die in prison. Those are not the odds for Mackenzie. We're looking at probably 15 to 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that before she's 50, she'll be out.
Yeah. Which makes it even sadder. Say the word more sad that she's serving both sentences at the same time and not after one another.
And that's why I like when they come right after the other, because, okay, you did your first life, which was 30 years. Now you got to do your second life. That's another 30 years.
Right. Because
And that feels more fair.
it would have been at least
Right.
60
I agree.
years, right? Like she would be an old lady and not in the middle of her life. By the time she gets out, she's my age pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think I would be more okay with her sentence if she didn't have the support system she has, who says that she did absolutely nothing wrong.
Right.
Because she's going to get out of prison and be exactly who she was before and do exactly everything she did before, supported by the same people who raised the 17-year-old who smashed the car into a wall. She's not going to change as long as she has those parents.
No, she's not. And honestly, I think she's even going to be worse when she comes out. Because if you heard her last, like, recorded phone calls from prison, she took on a nice slang now. She talks like, the prison butch now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed that in her little interview with the Bun. She had a little accent. And I was like,
Mhm.
where'd you get the New York accent from, girl?
Yeah.
Right. I know.
Is your cellmate from New York City or something?
It's gotten even worse in the latest recordings I heard online. It's like the phone calls between her and her mom. She talks even worse now. And it's insane. And also, there was a girl that was cellmates with her, or like imprisoned with her at the same time, who gave an interview. And she said Mackenzie would wake up every day and put on makeup and like be all ready and be like this influencer girl. And the girl was like, for what? We're in prison. We're not going anywhere. What are you putting makeup on?
Well, I guess she's trying to keep up like how she was in high school, like trying to be like Regina George, like getting all dolled up and, having like her little clique and trying to be that person. I know I watched a few TikToks where people were talking about like her in prison, or like just the prison that she's at, and like just like what she has access to and all that. It's crazy. Like the makeup and jewelry and all that shit. Like I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa, you know that
No.
my parents were attorneys.
Yeah.
Mel. Sorry. I'm
That's okay.
calling you Melissa.
Right.
I'm
Actually, Melly
sorry.
is short for Melanie, but nobody calls me Melanie besides my mom.
Yeah,
So that's why I don't put the name out. So it's always Melly.
So, my adopted parents were attorneys. My mom's specific job was to defend the state of Pennsylvania when inmates filed lawsuits against her, but also occasionally she had to deal with a situation where corrections officers did inappropriate things with inmates. And my
Hmm.
mom would have to have this conversation with them, which is, "Hi, there's nothing I can do for you. You're going to jail." So my brain goes, is she dressing up for a male CO?
Oh,
Because in my mom's, line of work, these, corrections officers would fall in love with inmates, they would bring in drugs, they would bring in phones, and stuff like that. So, is that something she's trying to do to get, special treatment from any sort of, male corrections officers? I wouldn't put it past her, especially because the one documentary said she was already participating in solicitation.
yeah.
Even if she never did it, she still offered it,
Yeah.
Right.
which means you're kinda already halfway there.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. You've got a good point
So
here.
so, yeah, I'm like, maybe that's why she's dolling herself up every day.
Yeah.
She's trying to
Probably.
catch a
I mean,
boyfriend
yeah.
while she's in prison.
Yeah.
Right.
Even for the pastor, honestly. Brittany, I want to ask you
Well,
this.
she's getting
Oh, go ahead, Pete.
Mhm.
sorry, I was just gonna say, she is getting all these letters and whatnot. Like people are reaching out to her.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Oh my god, I was
I
telling Melly that. I was like, "Yo, she has crazy groupies online."
Yeah.
I know, I know. I, it's so weird.
It is so
People
Like
make
why?
videos where like, "She's too pretty to be in prison."
Ew.
please.
Like you're
There's no
weird.
such
Like
thing.
no,
Yeah. Brittany, let me ask
she's
you
a
this.
murderer.
I don't know. Do you happen to know? I Googled it. Ohio has one of those laws in place where she cannot make money off of her own case, right? I like what it's
Mhm.
called, the son of Sam law, whatever.
Yes, yes, from the Son of Sam case in New York.
Right. However, once she gets out and she does build on her quote unquote fame, right? And she does do the influencer career, or she will write a book one day or whatever. Is she allowed to make money that way?
No, she's not allowed to write a book. She's not allowed to take any public appearances or payments like that. But if, say, a certain network that loves to exploit people, like TLC, would decide to give her a TV show, as long as she's not directly talking about the case,
Yeah.
there's a loophole there. Because that's what
Melly,
happened with Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
the one interview that you sent me, what was it? The brunette podcast or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Legally
Legally
Brunette.
Brunette.
Yeah. I was like something. So his Dom's sister was actually saying that they're trying to work with the state on getting the law updated because it's
Mhm.
so dated.
Yeah, it
Yes.
dates back to the 70s.
Right. And so you would think everything has changed, like social media, GoFundMe, OnlyFans, like all that stuff. So they're trying to work on the logistics on updating the verbiage of that,
Yeah.
which I thought was really,
Yeah.
really
I th
interesting.
I think they should,
Oh, I
because
agree.
I think
She's
it's wild that every couple years Casey Anthony pops back up online and tries to monetize her fame.
Yeah.
yeah.
I also really appreciate that every time she tries to make a TikTok, TikTok's like, "No."
I saw a TikTok live the other day, one of those shop live things. I could have sworn
Mhm.
that's Casey Anthony. So either they're like a doppelganger out there or it was Casey Anthony. It's like I was like, oh,
I think the last thing she said she was trying to do was she was trying to start a detective agency
hmm
to help people who were unfairly prosecuted like I was.
oh, okay. All right.
That's a whole other, ugh, man.
Paige, if you could have a jail phone call with Mackenzie, what would you ask her?
Ooh. This is, God, that's good. Um, hmm,
But do you have a question you would ask her if you could?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Just because I feel like she wouldn't be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would definitely be about relating to the victims. Did she, consider Davion's life in the middle of this crash? You know what I mean? Like, if she didn't know, like, it was being recorded or anything, like, if it was truly like a one-on-one, like, would she be open and
Yeah.
honest?
Yeah.
I don't think she would, but
Yeah. That reminds me how the mom asked for leniency in court and the way she talked about Davion and the judge kind of reprimanding her. Brittany, did you see that?
So far, I see what she was trying to say, but she should have just been quiet because she was just like,
yeah.
no, Mackenzie really cared about Davion. They had just started to get closer together. And the judge was like, so that means she can kill him?
Right.
And I
Right.
was
Like,
like,
his life is lesser important.
that judge was upset. It was actually
Mhm.
probably the worst thing Mackenzie could have done to waive the jury trial
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
because a jury of her peers probably would have been more sympathetic to her.
Yeah, I didn't understand why she chose a bench trial.
It was her choice.
Because you only need one jury member who is on your side, right?
To be a hung jury,
To be a
yeah.
hung jury, exactly. So I didn't understand that decision, to be honest. But also,
I guess she thought like maybe one person versus 12. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
yeah,
Oh, well.
I have a.
Melly, do you have to do jury duty?
I'm a citizen now.
Yeah, so you're going to get it soon.
Darn it.
Really? I got it when I lived in
Never.
Philadelphia.
I never do. And I'm like, I want to. But then I was like, so I have a criminology degree. So I was like, I wonder if they like look into that.
I
I
was the
doubt.
13th juror, so I didn't get to go into the box.
Uh,
Once, because I was essentially they have an extra person just in case something
mhm.
happens or they find out something and they have to kick somebody out. So the case was crazy. It was like this old guy, he was like 50 something, and these two young girls. And they had been driving through Philly recklessly and they got in a car crash. And the one girl was like sitting on his lap and she like
No.
went out of she had catastrophic injuries. And so the suit was from her perspective. And she was like, somebody got to pay me my money. Is your car? And he was like, it's your friend who was driving it. I never learned what happened. But
Damn.
What a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Look, we got to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I gotta look that up. This case from like 2008, 2009 or something.
I had another
Yeah.
wild thought, and you guys might think I'm crazy, but because Mackenzie was a minor when she committed this crime, I almost feel like her parents should have been on trial as well. And I feel like the least they should have gotten is mandatory therapy.
So what you're talking about is something that's happening right now. Like in 2025 and 2026, now when kids commit crazy crimes, they arrest the parents too.
They should.
If your kid takes your gun and shoots up a school, they arrest the parent too.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I
Yep.
totally agree with you. I think absolutely.
Especially in this particular case, because it's so obvious that the parents enabled her and they made so many mistakes. And I don't understand why there isn't what's the word, a wrongful death suit against them, even in civil court.
See, for me, as someone who worked in education for so many years, I feel like I would have been compelled to contact Child Protective Services over the fact that they let their 17-year-old move in with an adult man.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that's a sign that you're a bad parent.
Yeah. I don't know this case. Ladies, we're a little bit over time. Let me ask you this. Is there anything that stood out to you that we haven't discussed yet? Paige, anything I'm missing?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about.
I know Brittany went way down the rabbit hole. Anything you would like to
Oh, no. Go ahead, girl.
No, you know what? I think the only thing that I would say is that one, the Flanagan family absolutely broke my heart.
Mhm.
I think it's so sweet that they are using all of the GoFundMe money to put as many kids in Ohio through barber school as possible.
Yeah.
That's the only time in the documentary that I cried.
Yeah.
Because and the dad said that in the last couple years, the times that he's been able to give those kids money have been the only time that he's been happy.
Yeah.
I know. That really broke my heart. Wait,
like, to
I
be able
do
to do something in his son's honor.
Yeah.
yes, I agree. Also, referring back to that podcast that you sent me, what is it?
Legally
Something
Brunette.
brunette.
Legally brunette.
Legally brunette. I should know this. Legally blonde. Hello. Um, the sister was saying that, she mentioned his family's foundation, but also that they're starting a foundation and hopefully that it's like they're going to do like a partnership with like a shoe or something. Did you guys hear that? I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Didn't really understand that,
But I mean,
but
if you're raising money to do something good in the, in honor
right.
of your brother or whatnot, I don't see that's
Yeah.
a net positive for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also was listening to a podcast actually earlier today where they were talking about how Dom's family like created like a little area for his gravesite for like people to go and put, pictures and flowers and all this stuff. But then one day everything was burned and it was like thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Oh my God.
And I was gonna
Wow.
see if you guys because I, cut it off, so I didn't really like get the outcome of that. I mean, they made a GoFundMe and, raised funds to replace everything. And then they said like any additional funds would go and like in the
Unfortunately,
future for
that's
that.
really common. I've come
Yeah.
across that a lot on Facebook,
Yeah.
that people will be like, "Oh, we planted a tree for my daughter and somebody chopped down the tree."
Yeah. So I was like,
Or
I wonder if it's someone like who supports her or her friends or family, like
probably.
vandalized it, which is so fucked up. Like so fucked up. They already lost their family member. Why are you gonna tarnish their little like piece on earth that they can like go and see him?
Yeah.
And
Unless
like
it was
I
an
said,
accident, obviously, but
that's the part that like gets me with like her fans and her dad and stuff. Like, they
mhm,
all really think that if this didn't go down this way, she would have no jail time.
yeah.
Regardless, she would have several drug charges.
Yeah.
She would have a 2 manslaughter, reckless driving charges. She would still be in prison right now, guys.
She
Even if
also
she
got a
didn't get first
B&E.
degree murder, she'd still be in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, she also got a B&E for breaking into a church, like right after or like right around that time. So I'm like, all right, she's clearly not an angel.
Spoiled.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to end this podcast uh, talking to the families of Davion and Dom. If you could tell them anything, what would it be? Brittany, starting with you.
The majority of the world is with you. Everybody who has looked into this case, and a lot of these people have read this stuff, and please do not let the people who have the hybristophilia, who are obsessed with dating inmates, think that the rest of the world agrees with you. They are a weird subculture of people, but the majority of the world is on your side.
Yeah. Paige, want to add to that?
Ditto. And just, apologize and, just say how sorry we are because, you know, a tragedy happened and it should have been prevented and it's just so sad and, my heart goes out to them.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Brittany, why don't you tell the bitch besties where they can find you, where they can listen to your podcast, and please state it again.
My podcast is When Killers Get Caught, and you can find me on like 30 different podcast platforms. I also now have an active Facebook account that I post to every day, and it's usually different things than what's on TikTok. TikTok is Caught Podcast because they wouldn't let me put the full name on there. But everything else is When Killers Get Caught. If you search that, YouTube, everywhere else, you'll find me.
Amazing. Paige, where can people follow you if they want to? Did we ever shout you out? I couldn't remember.
No,
I'll
I
follow
don't know.
you.
I barely have a TikTok. Like I think my header on there is like I don't even know how to use this. And I literally only actively started using it because of you. And now I'm like I feel like I'm like, back when like everyone was like on it for 2020. I'm now like getting in like, oh, look at these cleaning videos and shit like that. Like I'm just a little
Cleaning
behind.
videos. I watch the ladies who clean the houses for free.
Oh no, I could never.
No,
That's
I watched
crazy.
it. I would never, but I watch the
Oh yeah,
people
I
who
can
clean
watch
the
them.
hoarder houses for free.
Can
I
those,
love them.
can those people come
Yeah.
over here, please?
I know, right?
Your house looks nice, Melly.
Thank you. Thank you. Bitch besties, I want to thank you so much for listening. I also want to send out all my love to the families of Dom and Davian, and I wish them lots of healing and strength. I think the things they're doing coming out of it with all the foundations and the work on the laws and everything they do is absolutely amazing. And if you guys like this episode, please share with your friends and family, shine some awareness on this case. Brittany, Paige, thank you so much for coming on. Stay on for just one more second. And bitch besties, I see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you.
Party!
Thanks, bitch besties, for listening. Make sure to follow us at the Judgy Bitch Pod. And hey, spread the word. Tell your friends, your ex, your dog walker. We'd love their support. Want to be part of the show? DM us your feedback, hot takes, or unapologetic opinions. We just might read them on air. And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the pod. See you next week. Cheers, bitches.